Then that's great.
Let's get started. Thank you, Alexandra, for your time, and really appreciate you taking the time out. I'm sure you're busy throughout the day, and it's just starting of the week. So let's have this discussion. And I think discussion is very important for many reasons. One, I think you are bringing two most important groups of people together, and also this results in the blockchain enthusiasts or Web3 enthusiasts in general to sort of look forward to in the positive direction. So from that context, I think this is a very important innovation that you have done, and we can't wait to discuss more about it. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and yeah, thank you so much for having me here as well. And while it's the start of the week, it's fine. I'm always happy to chat Web3 and chat with wonderful other companies and enthusiasts such as yourself. So thank you very much for the intro.
Great. So why don't we start with a brief introduction about yourself and also the Thrill Labs that you have been working with.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Alexandra. I am Dutch, so from the Netherlands here in Europe, but I'm based in a different country in Italy since approximately 8 years now. I've been studying and working and living here really. I've been involved with Web3 since approximately 2017. Initially started as a trader in that bull run of 2017. And over the years realized that it was really Web3 that I wanted to work in professionally. While my academic background is actually more related to the social sciences. I'm a lawyer and political scientist by education. So to an extent, it's quite funny that I ended up founding a tech company. Indeed, over the last couple of months, it has still been, it's been really an exciting journey, still a young journey as well. For the rest, my background in Web3 is that until recently I worked for a different blockchain infrastructure startup, wonderful company called Ex-Radom Network on the business side of things. And yeah, last year I decided that, I wanted to build something myself, something that I thought was needed in the industry based upon my experience. And happy to chat about that.
Excellent.
That would actually be Thrill Labs. You already asked about it. Please go ahead.
Yes.
What you wanted to say?
Yes. So I've found it very interesting and absolutely fantastic that you come from a social science background and are trying to build a tech company, which is really commendable because I think people from different genre, different expertise have to come together if a technology has to improve. People from economics, people from finance, people from marketing, everybody if they come together, I think this would be a real good catalyst for the technology to grow in the positive direction. Having said that, can you just explain to our audience about Thrill Labs, what kind of problems you saw in the market, what motivated to launch something like this? By Thrill Labs, what are you trying to solve that is existing in the market? So it would be great if you can shed some light on that.
Of course. Please stop me if I go on too long, because you know what happens with founders once they speak about their company and solution, they are just unstoppable basically. But of course, happy to elaborate on that. First of all, what you said, about an inclusive sector and about people coming from all different types of verticals and industries and fields coming into Web3. I completely agree actually with what you said there. Not only do I think, there is lots of other people needed besides of tech people, but also indeed more women, right? That is actually something that I'm sure you're aware of yourself, that most of the people in this industry are men, and it would be great to see more women involved. And actually the same goes for different ages. I was at a conference a little while ago, and I just realized there's only young people almost at this conference, right? We go maximum to 40, 50 years old, maybe one exception there, but you never see a very elderly person there. And that's actually kind of paradoxical if you think about the inclusive and comprehensive nature of Web3 as a sector, right? Of an industry that can really change the world and change the world for the better of everyone. So having said that, my own solution is actually also aimed at changing the sector for the better. Thrill Labs is basically what I call a synergy machine for Web3. That makes it maybe sound a bit more complex than it really, really is. So basically what I'm building is a platform for Web3 projects and VCs, so people working for VCs and angel investors, where they can meet one another, right? And then chat in an instant and tailored manner all things synergy. So people can speak about funding opportunities, people can speak about partnerships, about B2B deals, any type of synergy that we are looking for in Web3, really, how we're doing business and funding arrangements with one another. And why I'm really building this is because I've noticed that how we are doing business today in Web3 is, often kind of inefficient, right? It takes so much time, and that's not a problem. It's lovely to meet new people, to be hours a day online, to go to conferences, to go to online events, to meet new people. It's absolutely great. But really, really often the people that we're speaking with for funding or for business deals are wonderful people, but in the end, they're not really the right match for us. And that's really what I've noticed, right? And that's not only when we're speaking with other projects or with other potential stakeholders, advisors, whoever that we need, but often also with investors, especially in the investor and funder relationship, or a founder relationship, I should say. There's lots of opportunity cost there. So the fact that we are maybe jumping on a meeting with a specific VC, if we even get a meeting in the first place, for 3 times, and then a VC says, nah, actually, you don't really fit my investment thesis, right? That's a shame, because potentially we could have figured that out way sooner. And ideally, sometimes we shouldn't have even hopped on those calls with that investor, just because perhaps the investor is only looking for equity while my project has only tokens. So there's so many different ways that we're interacting, and that sometimes things go wrong. And with my platform, I actually want to make that process more streamlined, all across the board. So that's a little bit, a comprehensive, kind of explanation what we're doing. Please, if you want more detail, let me know.
Fantastic. I think what you rightly pointed out, a couple of things that stands out, from what you just said is, one is you paradoxically, there's a paradoxical situation wherein people of all, there is an inclusion from the point of view of gender, but there is not so much of an inclusion from the point of view of age groups, right? So that brings to me, that brings to a thought that, we need the energy of the young, but the wisdom of the old, right? Mm. So I think, if, a healthy balance of this will better direction.
Yes, that is actually a very interesting remark. And generally put, if we're looking at Web3, and certainly if we look at the projects and the investors, it's usually the investors that are slightly older, because they are usually established men, also women, but usually, established men. And then there's the project, or lots of young people such as ourselves that are really aiming to build something new and change society for the better. I do have to say that, breaking down an age barrier or whatever is not really the goal of my platform or of Thrilled Labs. The idea is actually to make Web3 more inclusive, so that whatever connections you have or don't have, whatever background you have or don't have, that all what matters is your ID and your project. And that in that manner, by presenting your project as well as possible on the platform that I'm building, you can connect with the right people. So that it's true capitalism, actually, what we're doing. The best projects will survive. The best projects will connect with new potential, funders or other types of synergy providers.
Absolutely. So with this point that you just mentioned, can you also extend and let us know about the kind of Web3 ecosystem that you leverage to drive this project? And what are the key features about this platform? What about this platform is absolutely interesting and a potential investor and probably a startup founder should be looking forward to, in terms of engagement?
Well, let me first of all say, why people should join us. We're launching in approximately 3 months from now. I've been manually introducing people to one another, just by hand, because I already had a form out, and I see that indeed lots of projects are looking for funding, right? They're looking to connect with new people, and the same actually goes for angel investors as well. Lots of people, are actually already out on the market and even trying to contact me on LinkedIn, which is really great. But more to the question that you were raising, I think a very important thing to mention here is that Thrilled Labs will be free for everyone, because there are solutions out there that provide some sort of a matchmaking, often between people looking for money and those that provide financial, support and investments. But those are often, they either require, high fees, or they require, I don't know, you to upload all your financial details, your decks, all your other, data. And that is not really what we're doing. It's very simple here. We're building a free platform. It's not a Web3 platform. It's not decentralized in any way. It will be really a typical Web2 solution, but there will be the sauce of Web3. There will be the ethics and really the ideological perspective of Web3, indeed having a free solution. Of course, there will be, some premium features, and people that want to opt in for that, they can even pay with crypto without on or off ramping, just through a clever integration that I'm doing with my previous employers. They're building a great decentralized infrastructure for that. And yeah, people can just decide themselves how they are creating their profile, which type of data they want to provide. And based on that and what the market wants, people ultimately, get presented with potential matches. And how you can imagine that is that basically, let's say, Pradeep, you work with Crew Audits, right? You come on our platform and you say, okay, we are a Web3 B2B firm, and we're looking to connect with other Web3 projects, maybe because you ultimately, you do the auditing for Web3 projects, but perhaps, who knows, you're looking for investors as well. I don't know. So you can basically select who you are, what you're building, which type of vertical you're in. Are you, I don't know, into NFTs? Are you indeed infrastructure? Are you developing a tech solution, whatever? And then based upon everything that you selected and what you're looking for, the algorithm suggests you with potential matches. Pretty straightforward, actually. And once that you like one another, right, the users of our platform, you can match if there is a mutual interest only. And you can simply chat. You don't have to marry with one another. You just chat and take it from there. You can also go outside of the platform and just take it from there. It's really meant to bring people together. That's really the idea.
It's interesting that you have kept crypto, payment by crypto for the premium services, which which also gives us a nice touch of you being Web3 ready, or being open to the Web3 ecosystem, and being open to people who are already into Web3. So that's a very good connect, and I feel that connect is going to work in your favor in a very good way. Before we move forward, I just want to sort of give a shout out to all our YouTube audiences right now. So, guys, if you have not followed Alexandra on LinkedIn, please follow her on LinkedIn, and also follow Thrill Labs on LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm sure you would find it very compelling about the kind of work that these guys are doing. So engage with the project. Look out on all the updates that Thrill Labs is coming in the future. And I think with this, let's move on to the next question that we have for this evening. So we have seen a similar or probably multiple solutions, which might probably overlap with what you're doing right now. How do you see yourself in the competitive landscape? Like, are there any competitors with whom you compare with, or are there any other players in the market who are doing similar lines? And how do you at Thrill Labs differentiate, and so on and so forth, right? If you can shed some light on that.
Yeah, of course, you're right. Actually, there are quite a few. I don't know if I should qualify them as competitors. What I see out there is, while I was doing research for this company, right, that there's a lot of platforms out there. And basically what they're doing is they're opening up a website that basically functions as a central repository. So you can become a member of this website. You can fill in all your data, either if you are an investor or a project. And then they're looking at the data and they're going to do the matchmaking for you. So basically there's a middleman here. And that is exactly what I don't want, and what I think is not in the spirit of Web3. Ultimately, of course, our platform and the algorithm that does the matchmaking, right, can be seen as a middleman as well. But you can decide which type of data you're uploading. You can decide if you're looking for investors, or if you're looking for, I don't know, other Web3 projects for partnerships or B2B deals, because this is also a fundamental characteristic, I believe, of Thrilled Labs, that we are building a one comprehensive solution for all Web3 synergies, because most of our competitors out there only look at the funding and the founder relationship, right? It's all about creating investments, taking a commission out of that, etc. While with us, you can also easily reach out other Web3 firms for whatever reason that you're after. And that is something that is actually not out there. In my research, I have not found any other company that does that, actually, that allows you as a Web3 project to directly connect with other Web3 projects globally and to immediately speak business and partnerships. What is also interesting to mention, right, is that if you match with one another through our platform, you can instantly chat. There is, again, not someone in between who is hoarding the data or some sort of platform that looks with you. No, you can directly chat, and the chats will be P2P encrypted. So you don't have to be worried that some third person, is looking whatever you're writing, etc. Again, also the project, the company itself is specifically tailored at the Web3 market. As far as I know, there is not any specific company out there who does this specifically for the Web3 market. And then finally, another important thing to mention again is that our solution will be free. So that even if you don't have the right resources, maybe you are not so rich, it's possible, right? Maybe you don't have a credit card because you're unbanked. That's very likely in today's, global ecosystem where everyone, however, is active and working on beautiful things. It can happen that you don't have the resources to pay for an expensive solution. So that's why we're free as well. So yeah, there's a couple of different things here that I would really want to mention, indeed.
Brilliant. I think you are, by doing such a thing, I think you're also solving a very pertinent problem in the Web3 industry. That is, there is a lot of entry barrier for people to, to move from Web2 to Web3, or probably, even in Web2, there is a lot of barriers, right? So I think you are making, at Thrilled Labs, I think you are also, one of the things that you are also making is you are solving the entry barrier problem and making people feel more comfortable, talking to each other, exploring people who are into investment, exploring people who are into startups, and bringing them all together. And the other nice touch that you just mentioned is the conversation is happening privately, and there is no data collection or data manipulation or anything like that. So this gives another layer of trust, right? That brings me to another question, a follow-up question, which is quite logical. What I think is that we are in the business of security. We are in the business of making a Web3 a secure place, or probably the technology a secure space, right? So how do you address matters like security? How do you address matters like data protection and things like that?
Yeah, this is, I think, one of the most fundamental questions that you can ask, apart from the very functionality of the platform, and even for the functionality of the platform, because without security and without creating a safe environment, which type of solution do you really have, right? So I think we as a company, we can do different things. While we're speaking about privacy, of course, people who sign up for our platform, right, will be operated out of Europe. So everything will be GDPR compliant. I'm a lawyer myself, and I find it incredibly important, not only from my lawyer perspective, but also really in the spirit of Web3, again, that we don't do creepy things with your data, that everything is ethically done in terms of data governance. In terms of the security and the functioning of the platform, I do want to mention, and I'm sure you know that as well, that in this sector of Web3, which is beautiful and great things are happening, unfortunately, there are some people that can be qualified as bad actors, right? There are scammers out there. Either they can be projects that present themselves as projects, but they are basically not. But there's also people presenting themselves as investors or as any type of other stakeholder that are actually out there for other reasons, right? To basically financially or otherwise profit from you. So what I really want to do as a company is provide education for our users. So there will be guidelines, there will be seminars, right, about how you create your profile in a safe manner. There will be potentially even sessions or written articles with our partners that care for security, that can really basically educate our users. And I'm sure that lots of people already know that you should be careful with what you're putting out there, but it can never be, it can never be overstressed, the importance of education, I think. But that's something more that you can do before, right? Before the user uses the platform. Afterwards, what we're really doing is that we are incorporating really functional game theory almost. Everyone can basically create, a profile or come on as a user and present themselves as they are. But of course, there will be people that present themselves in different ways. And that are potentially scammers. And in that case, our algorithm will notice that you, for instance, only swipe right. And our algorithm will pick up on that and actually, provides for feedback to the people that are on the background monitoring how the app is functioning. So then we can immediately have a look at who these people are, and apparently they are only swiping right. For aiming to have as many matches as possible, just to give a very clear example. The same actually goes for once that people are chatting with one another or seeing each other's profile, there will be a button that you can potentially report someone. So saying, let's say this profile is not okay, then we ask why, and then you can simply explain what you think is wrong here. Well, we don't automatically ban anyone because we don't think that's right. Also with the aim, of potential competition between players. So we'll have a look, and then we actually monitor ex post. And based upon both, the algorithm and how the algorithm is handling potential matches and the acting of the very users of our app, and then indeed also a little bit of monitoring from our side, we can actually really prevent that people, use our app for bad things. And that's what we want to prevent ultimately.
Very nice. I think you're spot on with identifying the security threats that might happen, and pretty prepared in terms of how to deal with the such vulnerabilities, right?
Yeah.
So what are the key milestones that you have that you have planned so far? Like where does this evolve into, and what are the given your current development status, right? What maybe you can let us know a little bit about what's happening right now. What is your dream? What does the milestone look like? And what's maybe the roadmap that we are looking at for Thrilled Labs?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So thank you for your interest. I appreciate that. So Thrilled Labs, as I mentioned before, is still quite a young company. There is me, there is a couple of advisors, and there is the people that we're actually building the app with at the moment. I also would like to mention that before incorporating the company, I was part of a wonderful accelerator and incubator as set up by the Blockchain Founders Group that you might know yourselves, because I believe to have seen that you've also recently partnered with BFG, correct? And they are running this wonderful incubator. And actually during this incubator, this idea for Thrilled Labs popped into my mind. So that clearly illustrates, right, the value of incubators, in my opinion. So the incubator, that was really a milestone actually for me as an entrepreneur, because before the incubator, I wasn't even aware that I could become an entrepreneur and a CEO of a tech company. I mean, who could have dreamed that? And having said that, that's also something that I really want to tell to everyone in the audience, that if I can do it, if I can do this, right, have I think, great idea, have the determination, have the volunteer to work hard and to, really go for your dream, so to say, in a very cheesy manner. If I can do it, other people can do it too. That's why I really want to encourage people just to always consider the path of entrepreneurship. Having said that, other milestones were actually, I was on stage at the conference in November in Berlin, actually speaking on the panel. I'll be at the Crypto Asset Conference in Germany later in March, actually, also presenting some stuff on stage. That doesn't necessarily also relate to Thrilled Labs, but it is for me as a founder really important to put myself out there and to actually let people know that this company exists. Because without people that are knowing that this company exists, I cannot help the ecosystem, right? Because we need the network really to grow together as a platform. For the rest, I'm really busy building. I hope to present a really cool new UX UI design soon. and have a sandbox version of my app ready in approximately 6 months from now, and have the app in the App Store in 3 months from now, so that everyone can really start using it.
Excellent. I think, as you rightly said, it's a combination of personal effort and constant building in the background that helps people to notice about what you're doing, and eventually in the process you are also building a community for yourself and for the Thrill Labs. That will these communities, I call them the early believers, or the early supporters of the whole idea. So I think more power to you. I've seen your participation in a lot of events on the LinkedIn as well. So I think you're doing something fantastic. So I just wanted to sort of also touch upon the importance of collaborations and importance of partnerships that you have seen in your in your personal career, and how are you adapting those things to grow the Thrill Labs?
Well, I do have to say here that partnerships and collaborations are, for me, of fundamental importance. Actually, they are an integral part of the solution that I'm building, because ultimately, remember, through the solution, you're supposed to find new partners and new collaborations as well. That's how important I find this. So what I'm currently doing behind the scenes is that I'm in talks with a couple of different conferences, with events, both online and offline. I'm in talks with VCs and accelerators, and I'm in talks with infrastructure companies and other Web3 companies to actually establish these types of collaborations, right? Because ultimately, I have to think very cleverly, how do I go to market, and how will people actually know that I'm existing? So, or at least that the app exists, right? So in that regard, I'm always open for new collaborations with true value add, because I do believe that, a collaboration or a partnership should not be, a paper tiger, as we say in Dutch. It should be a real tiger, right? Something real that actually helps one another and that provides value for both partners. And ultimately on LinkedIn, I also conducted a little survey. It's not representative at all, a couple of weeks ago. And I asked the community, really, do you believe in partnerships? And do you think they can really provide value add, or are they basically fugazis? And it was really interesting to see that 60 people voted from the Web3 ecosystem, and more than 90% actually mentioned that they really believe that Web3 partnerships are so important for growth. And that actually is a little non-scientific detail that I would like to add. Having said that, there is one final thing that I would really like to add in terms of how we will scale, because that also relates to partnerships and collaborations. Ultimately, the idea of Thrill Labs is not to include only Web3 companies and investors, right? Both VCs and angels, but go beyond that. Ultimately, I want to create a huge ecosystem where all key stakeholders of Web3, so you can even imagine key opinion leaders, influencers, developers, any type of consultants, any type of company that is looking to work with or tap into the Web3 industry can actually find new business partners on our app for free. And that is really important from a scaling perspective as well, just because, as you know, Web3 as a new paradigm is growing and growing and growing. And it would be really great if we can bring all those people together globally. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Fantastic. I think that's also very imperative that that a lot of other stakeholders, just not the investors or the startup founders, but the other stakeholders who bring a company together or a mission together. I think if they are also exposed to a solution like Thrill Labs, I think they will also individually become your evangelists, and spread a word in their network, and that way a lot of word of mouth happens as in an organic way, right? I think that's a great idea, Alexandra. I think we are now coming to an end of this discussion. Before wrapping up, I just want to mention that Thrill Labs is absolutely an exciting project. I've been following Thrill Labs' journey so far, and I appreciate what you've built. Before we end this discussion, would you like to share a few thoughts to all our audience today?
thank you for this very great opportunity and for your great interview questions. It's always lovely to speak with you, Pradeep. What I want to share perhaps with the audience is that, very straightforward. Anyone who's interested to use our app soon in a sandbox version, or once that we're launched in the app, they can simply sign up through our website and leave their email there. And I will just send you an email once that we're ready, and you can join for free. Apart from that, if there is people that think that they want to collaborate just because they have a great idea, or even people that have questions, maybe someone wants feedback on their deck, maybe someone wants suggestions on how to reach out to investors or any other type of help, just reach out to me, preferably on LinkedIn, just because I'm mostly active there. And I'm always happy to chat Web3, right? We always have to help one another. I think I'm not an expert, in a sense that, I'm not a tech person, but any other type of thing that I can do from my perspective, happy to help anyone. I think really by helping one another and by supporting one another, we can grow together and make the world a little bit of a better place. And that's ultimately what I want to do with Field Labs, act as an enabler for those that are much more clever than that I ultimately am.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Feel free to connect with Alexandra on LinkedIn anytime. I think it'll be a fruitful discussion, I'm sure. So with this, we'll end this discussion for now, Alexandra. But let's follow each other's work, and we'll be absolutely thrilled again to talk to you once again. Once you launch officially, and we can't wait to see your project go live.
Thank you so much, Pradeep. I much appreciate it. And of course, it's a thrilling journey that we're on together. So looking forward to remaining in touch and help us one another in our journeys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alexandra. Good evening.
Good evening.
Record.